First question is I have here is, can you please explain Share Standard number 18, which is possession in detail? Okay, we'll try to go through in detail. Let me see if I have it in my slide. Otherwise, we'll go through the actual Share Standards. Okay, so this is the Share Standard on Qabd. Maybe I will just explain a few things. I already went through some of those. So first and foremost, the definition of possession is basically a gathering of the thing. That's the main thing. Now, there could be different modes of possession. For example, it could be firstly, it could be every possession would be based on the customary practices, the urf. We cannot impose the same type of possession on all different kinds of goods. Now, there is actual possession. Actual possession is basically when, if it's an immovable property, then in the case where it's relinquished and transactions are enabled. So, for example, a property where I give the keys and I'm no longer having any of my belongings as a seller, and the buyer can basically take the key and just enter the house. So that will be considered a possession for immovables. For movables, it's basically through physical corporeal delivery, meaning that I get the actual delivery. Okay, now how will constructive possession happen? It will happen basically where the liability as a liability by description takes place after their ascertainment by means of one of the methods known for their ascertainment. So basically the main keyword here is ascertainment. Now it could be by relinquishing meaning again to release the belongings or anything from the seller, so that it enables him, meaning to enables the buyer to basically deliver it without any obstacle, even when no transportation or transmission takes place. This is important. For constructive possession, we don't need any physical transportation. So if the documents are there which enables him to take delivery without any barrier, this will also be considered as constructive possession. Okay, I think the rest are well understood. Now, there are a few examples of constructive possession. For example, registration of mortgage in the immovables, and also hypothecation, or again to mortgage it. The movables like cars, trains, steamers, airplanes, etc. through registration that is valid under the law. This will also be considered as constructive possession. Here, registration will basically stand in place of actual possession. Similarly, in terms of international trade, possession of documents like bills of lading, warehouse receipts, this is important, issued in the name of the possessor, or acknowledging his interest therein, it will be deemed as constructive possession. Then there are further discussions here. I think expenses of possession, this is not so important. I mean, not so important in the sense of understanding the concept. Definitely for exam, it is important. I hope that clarifies the concept. So if you have any particular question about possession, you can ask. Some key modern application of possession is, for example, by the beneficiary of bank draft or personal check, is deemed constructive possession of the amount. So if I want to pay, if I give a check or bank draft, will it be considered as a constructive possession of the payment? Yes. Meaning that in case of, let's say, currencies payment, currencies exchange, where one is supposed to pay on a spot without having any deferment of the counter values. So if one party is paying through a check, will it be considered a possession? Yes, because it's a constructive possession. Similarly, if someone is paying through credit card, is it constructive possession? Yes, it is deemed as constructive possession. The rest is fine. Yeah, I think it's very simple. It's basically to understand the main requirements of constructive possession. Physical possession is very well understood, which is actual possession. So I hope this answers your request.
This session was brought to you by TAIF and Adl. If you have benefited from it, please share in your social media platforms about both the entities and share the word. Spread the word. Jazakumullah khairan.